Welcome back to Broken Bobby's Transformation Page. If you are new to the page, in 1990, I became involved in the drug gang world. From 92 to 06, I spent a lot of time incarcerated. I tell these stories to let you know it don't have to be you. If you're young and thinking about trying something, or you're figuring out how to get out, these are my stories of this lifestyle and how it affected me, and eventually I got out and transformed my life. So let's get into today's story. So let's get into today's video, how the woods roll. And this was a subscriber request about doing a video on the woods. So I'm going to get into the different organizations within the woodpile and basically the white car in general, and county facilities as well as prison and the different levels in prison and the type of inmates you're going to run across. So if you are new to the channel, subscribe, smash that like button, drop a comment, and let me know what you think and what your experiences have been. And don't forget to share this video. If you know somebody that may enjoy this sort of content, definitely share it to them. So let's start off county jail. Now, not all county jails are built the same, so things are different depending on where you're at. I've done time in Riverside, San Bernardino, as well as Los Angeles County Jail. Now, Los Angeles County Jail is an animal all to itself, and there's not a lot of woods in LA County Jail, or at least not in the places that I've been. Now, Riverside and San Bernardino County Jail, you have a much larger population of white inmates. That creates some of its own issues if you know, getting into it. So, and what I mean by that is, okay, so you have the inmate that, you know, they got picked up on something. They're probably going to do 30 days or less, and they're not really much interested in the politics or participating in what's going on in there. So in the event that there's a, you know, major disturbance such as a riot or something, you can't necessarily count on some of these people. So one thing that, you know, I was taught to be very aware of is, what do the numbers look like? And what I mean by that is, you're in a, let's say a 50-man dorm. Okay. How many whites, how many blacks, how many Southsiders, how many Paisas? What's the breakdown? You know, are there 20 woods? And, you know, like, are we well represented in this dorm? Sometimes in Riverside and San Bernardino, we've been very well represented in these dorms. But the problem is, and no, I don't mean any disrespect to any of these people, but out of those 20, you might have 10 that are solid, maybe 15. But there's a few that, you know, just don't want nothing to do with anything. And, you know, you can't rely on them. So even though you have decent numbers, do you really? You know, the thing about the Southsiders and the blacks, they're going to jump. They're all going to jump. And maybe this is due to upbringing, and, you know, like if you're in a gang on the streets, you're obviously already accustomed to the violent lifestyle and fighting and stuff like that. And maybe some of these woods weren't brought up that way. So, but in the world of jail and prison, that's no excuse. The thing is, if you know, a couple of people from another race jump on you, I'm going to have your back. You know, and I'm speaking in past terms, obviously, when I was doing time. But I'm going to have your back, so you damn well better have my back. And if you don't, once all the smoke clears, then we're going to have a little meeting. So, yeah, that's kind of the breakdown of the counties. Now, some of the different organizations, if you will, within the white race, you have, you know, you have your Peckerwoods, who are basically stand-up solid white guys. You got your skinheads, these guys are soldiers. They're usually frontline. You've got Peni, which they're more in prison. I didn't see a lot of those guys in the county. I might have seen one or two in Riverside County. I didn't see any in San Bernardino County. And then at the top of the pecking order for the whites, you have the Aryan Brotherhood. And normally I don't speak on these organizations, but this is all well known and well documented, so I'm not giving up any game here. I'm just telling you what it is. So now you move on to prison. And one thing that really was a surprise to me when I went on to prison, and I don't know why it was a surprise, but all of a sudden, you know, like if you're in San Bernardino County, everybody's IE for the most part. You might have a few guys from LA or Orange County, but, you know, it's an Inland Empire jail. Wow, shocker, right? So you get to prison, all of a sudden you got these guys from Tulare County and Kings County and Cocoa County and all over the place. And Sacramento, like it, and their style's different. And it's noticeable. And people tend to, you tend to hang with the people that you're familiar with. So if you came from the IE, chances are the people around you are going to be IE as well. So you know, you get to most of these places and someone's going to get with you, another white guy that is in a position of power, I guess you would say. And he's going to give you the rundown of what the situation is in the facility you're in. And what I mean by that is, like, okay, so you're going to give them your paperwork. They're going to check you out, make sure your charges are honorable. And if, you know, you pass that test, then they're basically going to tell you, okay, this is where the whites, these are our tables. These are the phones that we use. If you're in a dorm setting, these are the showers that we use, and these are when we can use them. These are the white toilets. And same thing when you get to the yard. You know, same breakdown basically. And any, you know, rules that may apply with all of that. So the way I was schooled, though, was you are always going to be aware of your surroundings. You're going to have an idea of what the breakdown of people on the yard is. And you're always going to be, I haven't used this, seen nobody ever use this word, but basically you're going to be professional in your actions. You are going to be respectful. You are going to be clean. You are going to shower every day and brush your teeth and do that kind of stuff. And I know that might sound funny to some, but, you know, you don't want to be seen as a dirty white boy, basically. And most of the different group actions are pretty much the same, you know. If you're in cell living, like, hygiene is a must. Last thing you want to do is be smelling someone else in that cell, you know. Like, it's already bad enough you're in a confined quarters, and you know, it's tough. You have to find somebody you're compatible with. And so yeah, hygiene is very important. So I want to be clear on one thing. Even though you have all these different sub-factions of the white in the, you know, the white population in prison, when something is about to go down, it's all unification. Everybody rides together. And if Peni gets jumped on, say, for example, everybody's going to jump with him. Just like if a wood gets jumped on, or if a wood has an issue, and it goes, you know, in all directions with that. So, you know, we might not necessarily kick it together, you know, all tough on the yard. Everybody has their little sub-factions. But, you know, we do ride together. And when a note comes down from one of the big, you know, when a kite comes down from one of the big homies for action to be taken, whether it be against a different racial group or within our own, you know, everybody participates in that. If it's like a removal, as an example, Typically, a wood will remove a wood, a skin will remove a skin. And I don't want to forget about the Nazi lowriders. They are a faction too. They were still a faction when I was doing time, but I heard they were on the outs. They used to be the foot soldiers for the AB, but there was an uprising within the NLR movement, and they fell out of grace with the AB. But that's another video for another time. But I really like their stilo and how the NLR got down. In fact, I was in a riot in LA County in Supermax. I did a 2-part video on that, the LA County jail riot. So you can check that out. But yeah, I like their style. They just had a falling out with the AB. And as far as I know, there's not many of them around anymore on the main lines. But I don't know. I mean, I could be wrong on that. Let me know in the comments if you know something different. So, you know, most of the places that I've been in prison, like, we are definitely the minority as far as how well represented we are on these yards. So there's a lot of propaganda that gets fed into these youngsters that, you know, yeah, we're outnumbered 3-1, but it takes 3 of them to match what one of us can do. And, you know, you start buying into this stuff, you know, like, yeah, that's right, you know, like, we smash these fools. Well, it don't always work that way, but, you know, that's, you got to do something to fire up the troops, you know. And another thing I wanted to touch on was when there is tension, and this is a good reason to stay out of prison, guys, you know. When there is tension, this really tripped me out. If you're going to go to the restroom or you're going to go to the shower or something, you're going to have one of your homeboys watch point. So if you're on the yard and you need to go use the restroom, someone's going to come and stand next to you, basically. Well, not like right next to you, but, you know, close enough to keep an eye on what's going on out there in the yard while you handle your business, because the last thing you want to do is get caught with your pants down, literally, or naked in the shower, you know, like. And the idea with the keeping point is that they're going to hold off the mob long enough for you to get your shoes on or get dressed real quick, you know, whatever you may need to do. So, you know, on these yards, now with the different organizations, the Peckerwoods are just the regular woods, I guess you would say, that have put in some work and they've earned that designation. Skinheads typically are the frontline soldiers. Peni is basically well, in my time, things are different now, but in my time, Peni was the foot soldiers for the AB. And they would be getting the kites and stuff from back in the shoe or the hole with orders on things that needed to be done. And Peni would carry that out. Then you have the Aryan Brotherhood, who were all locked down at that time. And I want to say shout out to all of these organizations. Nothing but respect. I mean, no disrespect whatsoever in this video. But this is the pecking order. And all of this stuff is very well documented. So I'm not talking about anything that isn't already very well known and documented. But yeah, so that's the breakdown of the woods and how things go. I hope everybody enjoyed this video. Family, fitness, and freedom are what helped me to shake this lifestyle and become a productive member of society. And you know, it can do the same for you. Like, it's just a matter of making one good decision after another and not letting the bad decisions overtake the good ones. So I hope everybody's having a wonderful day, and don't look at the mountain, just start climbing.